Welcome to the Young Athlete Podcast. This is part 2, episode 3. This is the boxing segment, and I've got two other hosts with me here today. We have Cooper Ladd.
Kia ora.
And Carlos.
Hello.
So do you guys want to jump into questions and, just see how it goes?
Yeah.
So, start with you, Cooper. What got you interested in the sport? How did you kind of get into it?
So, basically, when I was, young, I used to, fight my dad all the time. So, basically, he'd, punch me in the face and I'd punch him back.
Oh, so this is just abuse then?
Well, yeah, see, it sounds like that. I'd be, watching TV and I'd be like, wow, I want to do that. And I'd fight my dad. And then eventually I started doing, stuff like judo and jiu-jitsu. And I thought that was boring because there wasn't really much confrontation.
Yeah.
So, my rugby team, Karen, I found out that he actually did Muay Thai. So I went to the gym, and I haven't stopped going to that gym since. Had 3 fights in the ring, and it's pretty good.
So you just aspired to get better at fighting, but also use it on an opponent.
Yeah, I don't really want to go around school, just being like, yeah, I do Muay Thai. Yeah, you want to fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
But it was just the more
like
professional kind of, well, not professional, but the proper way of doing it.
It's good self-defense as well.
Yeah.
If someone, when I'm older, comes up to me on the street, tries to attack me, I can defend myself. So
yeah, that's good.
Good.
I guess it's good to have that kind of skills. What about you, Carlos? What kind of got you into it or interested in the sport?
Me personally, it was my dad. Well, he first got me into rugby, then I played rugby for 2 or 3 years. And then after I was taught to play rugby, he got me into boxing, and then I started doing it for 1 or 2 years. And yeah, I just kind of stuck along with it. Right now I'm kind of taking a break from it, but trying to get back into it soon. And had 10 fights.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What about, what are your impressions, what were your first impressions of the sport? Carlos?
My first impressions was it was a hard-working environment. Everyone there worked hard, and as long as you all did your own bit, you wouldn't get a growling from the coach.
Yeah. What about you, Cuba? First impressions?
I just really liked it. So the whole atmosphere, everyone there's your family.
Yeah.
Everyone in the sporting game, everyone's nice.
So, Cuba, what were your first impressions of the sport?
Yeah, I really liked it. The whole environment. The first time I did sparring, I loved it. Yeah, just no technique at all. Just full out, just swinging, just seeing what I can do, and it was just fun. The training, it didn't when I had to go to training, I wasn't I got training. It was more yeah, I got training.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to training.
Yeah, although I don't do the sport, I've had my first impressions and interest in it, I've seen boxing multiple times at friends' houses or, just kind of watched it on TV. So it's I guess it's pretty interesting to kind of see that stuff, so yeah.
Yeah, because you came over to mine with Carlos, and we gave you a bit of a spar,
Yeah.
Shook you up a little bit.
That was a bit rough.
It was a little bit rough, yeah. I think, it might have gone a little bit hard on you, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any professional kind of aspects, or do you want to, go into get higher achievements through the sport? Cooper?
Well, following in Karen's footsteps, because he's got a national title now, I kind of want to do what he's doing, because he went to
that's your next achievement?
Yeah, he went to Australia. I wanna go have big fights, ones that are a lot of people will watch, and it's gonna be a big achievement. And I just wanna fight for something.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight just for fighting. I want to fight for something.
You want to have that extra bit of passion, that kind of extra achievement.
I want that extra bit of drive, I guess, because if it's just fighting for a fight, obviously you still want to do it because it's fun.
It's a good experience as well.
Yeah, but if you're fighting for a title, then you've got something up there that you want to work towards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. What about you, Carlos? Do you have any what do you want to do with the future of the sport?
Me personally, I reckon I would just prefer to stay as an amateur fighter as long as I can. But I would like to travel. Like this year, before COVID got in the way, we were planning on going to America for, I can't remember what the tournament was called, but it's the third biggest boxing tournament in the world. So we were planning on going to that.
Yeah.
And then the places that I travelled to, we've travelled pretty much all around the North Island. We travelled to Aussie last year to fight in there, and it's just been a good experience. And I want to keep meeting new people.
Like speaking of like people and the social side of boxing, there's, you know, as you mentioned before, there's a lot of social aspects of it, like just meeting people, and you guys both kind of like briefly mentioned that. Like, what do you reckon about like the social side of it? Like, has meeting people helped improve your social skills?
I wouldn't say it's helped improve my social skills, but I'd say it's definitely like it helps looking forward to going and doing things like training when you have friends there. Like for example, like there are guys at my gym who are in gangs.
Yeah.
But like they're the nicest guys, and like they're really good dudes, and like you don't need to be afraid of them because they're real gentle, they're nice people, and it's just the whole community of like a gym is that everyone's there for the same reason.
Yeah.
And you just want to go there to have fun, fight, and just exercise, get fit.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's all for the same reasons, and I'd say it's more than any other sport that I've done, because I've done rugby, and I've done judo and jiu-jitsu. None of them, like there's still like, well, with rugby I did it for 7 years.
Yeah.
And there's still like a community to it. Like there's still, you're all mates there, but it's nothing compared to.
It's a different environment, really.
Yeah, it's a different environment, but I'd say arguably you're probably in a better, you're probably like better friends with all the people there, because it's such a brutal sport.
Yeah.
That like you're all there for the same reason, like I said.
Yeah, I can kind of relate to that with some sports as well. It's just like you don't feel connections to some, but when you get that final bit of passion for one sport, you just socially connect to it really well, especially with other people who have, you know, the similar interests. Do you have anything to say about that, Carlos? Like meeting all these people through like the social environment of boxing. Do you think it's helped you through like social skills and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, personally I think there's a huge aspect of social skills, and even if it's just a solo sport like boxing or kickboxing for Cooper, you still meet crap tons of people, and then you build good bonds with them, just like what Cooper was saying, because you all have to go through the same things. Everyone's working hard. Everyone's trying to get to the top of their weight grade. They're all trying to be the best. Everyone's just working through it.
Yeah. How do you think like your environment can influence you in that fight? Is this through like a social science kind of aspect, like the way you'd interact with your place and environment? Because I've talked about this to different people before, and it's like you can be a different person depending on where you are in your place and environment.
Yeah.
Like I was speaking, and we were talking about volleyball the other day, and it's just you see a normal person change from someone else just because a place and environment's changed them. You know, you guys have anything to say about that?
Well, I think it kind of relates to like a lot of sports where home advantage is a thing.
Yeah.
So if I'm fighting in my own gym, I'm going to be a lot more comfortable than the kid who's come up from Masterton to come fight me. Yeah. Because it's an unfamiliar environment, but for me it's home. Like. And
like there's the nerves and the you know, just the almost you don't feel like it's natural to you to fight there.
Well, for the other person, they're coming into it blind. They don't know what everything's going to be like, especially with COVID. Like, because I had a fight during, like, the end of COVID in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And we had to be separated from our parents. Like, our parents would have to be in the stands. We couldn't see our parents before we fought, and that was kind of tough. But, you know, you got through it.
Yeah.
And it was fine. And fighting in your own gym, it's an advantage because you know everything. You know what it's going to be like. You know that there's going to be people watching you, and you just know the environment. You know everything around you. Nothing's different. There's no change.
Yeah.
So the nerves are all in your head because it's not like you go to some other gym. If you're fighting with a non-home advantage, if you're going to their gym, you don't know who the people there are going to be. You don't know what the gym's going to look. Well, you could know what the gym's going to look like, but it's unlikely. And you're not going to know the place it's around, and everything's going to be unusual to you because you're not going to have been there before, and you're not going to know what it's like.
Yeah.
And that builds up nerves a lot, and that's with the whole home advantage thing.
Yeah. No, home advantage can really, like, kind of change it, eh?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about, like, the environmental influence on the way you fight, Carlos?
Not so much on the way you fight, but if you're like training up for a fight and you're just training in general, if you've got a good environment where everyone's positive, but also at the same time you've got a tough but positive coach where he's tough on you to make sure you're always doing this, like the same reps as everyone, you're not cheating, making sure that everyone's doing the same thing. As long as you have a good environment like that and everyone's positive when you train, it's good. And even how Cooper was saying where you have a home advantage, I agree with that, but as long as, like, I used to go fight all the time, we used to have to go travelling to Auckland, Rotorua. Personally, I found where if you had people with you that you were comfortable with and you had a decent amount of people that you were comfortable with, it just felt like really good even if you were fighting somewhere else.
Yeah.
If I may add on to that part where you're like, your coach is making sure you're not cheating with like, say you're doing like crunches or something, you're not going half-hearted. If you're in a good environment, you won't feel like you need to cheat.
Need to, yeah.
Because if you're enjoying yourself, you won't feel like you won't feel the need to cheat. Where if you're not enjoying yourself, you just want to get it done.
Yeah.
You're gonna be more enthused to want to just get something done. Just take the short, easy way.
Yeah.
And if it's a good environment, you can race your friends. That's when training starts to become fun. You can race your friends, who can finish the workout first, who can beat the shit out of the other person first when you're sparring. It just makes it more fun.
Sure.
Anyway, so yeah, I completely agree with what he's saying. Like, there's a competitive side of it. Like, it's like a thing. It's like an unspoken thing. Like, if you're inspiring, you want to go harder. Sometimes you don't even have to say it. It's just like you can just keep going and just slowly get harder and harder. But you don't need to say anything because you both know each other's limits.
Yeah. It's just like you feel more connected, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna add on to this. What do you guys think about like whole order connecting to your sport? Like, because there's the 4 aspects, right? You got physical, mental, social, and spiritual.
Well, I think mental is the biggest part of any fighting sport because if you're not in the right mindset, you're not going to fight well.
Yeah.
Like, and as an example, the guy at my gym, Hamza, the whole week leading up to the fight, he was in a terrible mood. I think something happened outside the gym and he didn't have his mind on what he should have had his mind on. And his mind was racing the whole time. And he basically just gave his opponent a free win because he wasn't in the right mindset and he wasn't there. He, like, half of him was in, like a quarter of him was in the ring and 3/4 of him was out of the ring.
It's just like, you know, his mental side, you could say, was focused on something else, right?
Yeah. With the whole physical thing, you're obviously training, you're going to be very physical, but, like, it's not as important. Like, you don't have to be as strong as your opponent to beat him.
Yeah.
You just have to have that extra little bit of heart to pull through in that last round, because it can be even the whole time, and if you win that last round, it can be the difference between a win and a loss, or it can be the difference between getting knocked out and not getting knocked out.
Yeah. I guess there's a lot of those kind of aspects there.
Mm.
So, what Cooper said as well, like with the whole, the different aspects can affect it, right? How do you think, you know, some of them can impact or, like, you know, change the way you fight or play your sport?
See, what I found when I was fighting, where if I was confident in my physical side of my holder, then I was going to be confident mentally.
Yeah.
So, like, if you know that you're fit, you're going to go into the fight feeling confident, and since it's a solo sport, you have to be confident in yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're not confident in yourself, then you're already fighting 2 battles. You've got to fight the opponent and you've got to fight yourself. And it just makes it a lot harder.
Yeah.
If I can add something real quick, being fighting fit is completely different to being any other fit.
Yeah.
Being fighting fit, it's like you have to train so hard, like 6 times a week.
Yeah.
2-hour trainings, hour and a half trainings, just full out, going as hard as you can, the whole time, eating well, keeping your weight there where it needs to be. It's a completely different league to every other sport.
Like, you could be able to run 10Ks. Sorry, you could be able to run 10Ks in 40 minutes. But then going into the ring, you'd maybe only survive 2 minutes going harder, and then you'd feel tired.
Yeah, I guess it's just, like, each sport has their own kind of direct, they need fitness for certain aspects, right? But, like, the sports like boxing or Muay Thai, you can really chew out your energy through that, because not only is it physical, but there's, like, whole other sides. There's the mental side, which is, that can take your energy, the social and the spiritual.
You have to be mindful of your breathing as well, because
Yeah.
if you're like breathing like if your breathing isn't in a pattern, if it's unusual, that means it's sporadic.
Yeah.
That means that your heartbeat's going to be more sporadic as well, and that's going to chew through all your energy, because if you keep a nice even breath, that means that you're going to be more relaxed, and it's good to take a step back sometimes and just take a deep breath and just breathe out, just to kind of almost reassess yourself to see what you got to do next.
Like, if you start panicking in a fight, there's times where you start panicking, you don't know what the other guy's doing, you just try to take a step back. Even if you take 3 seconds in a boxing ring or a kickboxing ring is forever. Like, if you can get 3 seconds just to take a deep breath in, just relax your body, and then get back into the fight, then you're mentally and physically you're just going to feel way better.
Yeah.
Like, the way I see it is that a 6-minute Muay Thai fight is like a 6-minute sprint. Though it's probably the same with boxing as well, because
it's just so fast.
Yeah, because you're going hard out the whole time. Except it's just about, I would say it's just about harder than a sprint, because in a sprint you're using your arms and your legs, and you're in fighting, or especially in Muay Thai,
punches or kicks at you.
Yeah, especially in Muay Thai, you're using your whole body the whole time. You're twisting your hips, you're using your legs, you're using your hands, you're twisting your shoulder, you're moving your head back to avoid punches, you're moving your arms up to block punches or kicks.
And all of that, it's a lot of strain on the physical side, right?
Yeah, like, you have to be really careful with what you're doing. You have to know your limit. But I've found that you can actually do way more than you think you can. Like, most people, I might not be as fit as someone, but I know that I can go further than them, even though I've become tired before them. That little bit of heart that you get from doing sport like that is a lot. Like, you get that ability to just be able to keep going where most people would stop.
See, something that my dad and our coach used to always say is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that means that if you just have that extra little bit of heart, then you're just going to be able to outwork anyone. Like, if you're fitter and you have more heart, then you're just going to be able to outwork someone.
Yeah.
And then, like, on the spiritual side of Howalda, I also found that, like, meditating sometimes before a fight, just taking a few deep breaths in and out for a minute can just help to relax your heart. Just being able to get back into the mindset of the fight.
Yeah.
The tough thing about fighting is that even though you know that there's nothing that's going to go wrong, like, if you're getting beat up, you know the ref's going to stop it. Even though you've run all these things through your head, you know nothing, you know you're not going to die. You know there's nothing that's going to really, really, like, affect you long term or anything like that. You know nothing's going to happen, but you still feel nervous, and it's hard to get rid of those nerves, even though you know that, like, that those nerves are unnecessary, because you know that nothing bad is going to happen.
Yeah. I've kind of had experiences with that as well. It's like you're completely in a safe environment, but it's kind of the fear of, I don't know, taking a loss, or just.
It's more of a fear of unreal, like, nerves.
Yeah.
Because it's like unrealistic what you think may happen. A lot of the time, that's where the nerves come from.
So that's why I like meditating, because if you meditate, you can just clear your mind. Like, before a fight, I just always try to shut out my mind, because, like, the only things I focus on is the things that my coaches are telling me. Because if I start thinking too much, I'll just start overthinking, and then I'll just lose the battle in my head. And then it'll just make it a lot harder.
See, I'm different to you. The thing I don't try and
all
sit down
fighters
and
are
clear my
different.
mind, because what I do is that, because I'm usually fighting first, second or third, so I'm usually showing everyone, I'm usually setting it up for everyone else. So far I have. What I do is I try and socialise with as many people as possible because I feel that helps take my mind off of what's happening.
Yeah.
But when it gets to like 45 minutes out, when you have to start getting your gear and everything, getting changed into your fighting gear, and you get rubbed down with Thai oil to get your body all warmed up, and you start shadow boxing. You have to just try and keep doing. I try and keep doing stuff so I don't have to sit down and think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to just tie this up. But do you guys have anything else you want to kind of add to, or any more topics you want to talk about with boxing or Muay Thai?
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah, personally, I'm alright.
Yeah,
That's
alright.
been good.
Yeah, well, thanks for having this conversation. It's been quite interesting, really. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Right, this finishes up the podcast.
Mean as.
Thank you.